Apparently Devilman is not turtly enough for the Turtle Club. That's right. I made a reference to the Master of Disguise. Sue me! This was another crazy episode of Devilman Crybaby. Another super violent and incredibly disturbing episode as Akira Fudo is finally reunited with his mysterious parents, who immediately get attacked by a crazy demon and end up having to fight against their own son, which results in their extremely violent deaths. Yep. This is Devilman, alright, a series which constantly plays with your heartstrings and makes you feel completely disturbed over the ridiculous bloody massacres that explode off of the screen, albeit doing it with a lot of style. This was a crazy episode, by the way. There were really like two big stories which were going on in this episode. There's the girl, Miko, who is still being hit on by that one rapper, whose name is Mayuta. I know his name is Mayuta because he said it over and over again when he had this like big rap scene where he basically confessed his feelings to her while also in song explaining what he wants to do with his life. And this scene goes on for nearly 2 minutes. It's almost hilarious how long this scene actually goes on for. It's kind of like that scene in Evangelion where Rei and Asuka are in the elevator, or basically this is like the anime equivalent of the Family Guy throwaway joke with Conway Twitty. That's basically what this is, except that it actually has a lot more meaning behind it, and it's the type of scene that I honestly recommend watching a couple of times because it's a lot to absorb at once, but the fact that it went on for like nearly 2 minutes is insane, and these two characters are starting to form something of a relationship, boyfriend and girlfriend. It's actually kind of interesting, and I found myself actually sort of getting absorbed into that story. And then you have your B story, which is all about the main character who transforms into a half-man, half-demon. That's actually, I think, one of the biggest strengths of this episode is how both stories, considering how incredibly different they are, manage to be really entertaining. And these two characters actually start to get a lot closer towards the end of the episode when this Mayuta dude decides to take Miko to that underground creepy club where all those debaucherous things went down and where Akira was fused with a creepy demonic devil. And it looks like she's about to go through the same ordeal. Either that or she's about to be turned into demon shit. I'm not really sure. If they decide to kill her, it seems like all of this has just been a waste of time, to be perfectly honest, so I hope we get to see more of Miko, or really I should say Miki. That's actually her name, just like her friend Miki Makimura, and that's also where a lot of her stigma comes from, with people always just recognizing the other Miki and not her, so that's why she calls herself Miko. It's a very sad story, but let's get to really what's crazy about this episode, the giant turtle man who takes over Akira's parents. This could only happen in an anime, by the way, just the ridiculousness of this episode. So, basically the story here is that Akira's mother is getting ready to come back to Japan briefly, and she's going to be able to see her son, which is really awesome. We never even get to see these characters. And right as she gets off the plane in Japan, this weird, freaky monster, which is taking the form of her husband, or it might actually even be the husband who is possessed by this creature, just goes into this bus where she is and just annihilates everyone. Ripping off heads, ripping people in half, blood splattering everywhere, the typical Devilman violence that we've seen from the rest of the series. And he ends up kidnapping Akira's mother and quite literally forcing her into his giant turtle body. This turtle demon has the ability to take living people and basically fuse it with his body, and he does it to psychologically torture them and to also really just mess with his opponents. So when they introduce this guy, just imagine, if you will, this giant standing upright turtle. Kind of looks like Toka from Secret of the Ooze, and he has all of these human heads all over his body, and they can all talk, they all have consciousness, they're all freaking the hell out because they're on a freaking turtle's stomach, and you know that this guy has done this a couple of times because there are human skulls all over his back. And what's really creepy is we get like a big selection of people, some Japanese citizens, a girl who speaks English who just wants to see her mother, and boy, do things not work out for her, and we get to see, of course, Akira's mother. And we get the big scene where Ryo and Akira go... I just had a huge mega brain fart for a second. Akira and Ryo decide to go to the airport, and they find this guy, and this is where the big confrontation happens, because Akira is obviously torn. He can't completely destroy this thing, or he'll risk killing his mother, but he has no choice. He transforms partially into Devilman, and decides that he's getting ready to fight back and try to bring her back and get his father under control. That's when Ryo just decides, you know what, something violent hasn't happened in a while, and he just shoots the turtle head off. Just boom, just blood everywhere, gurgling up from the neck, all the blood and everything. And I thought that was the end of it, but no, apparently this thing can live even without, like, the top portion of its head. Just chalk it up to demon biology. I'm not really sure how it works, but that's when Akira realizes there's no choice. He is going to have to get in there. And all of these heads still keep talking, asking for help and begging. And the little girl's begging to see her mother when suddenly her head just explodes. And that's because Ryo just decided to shoot her just right there. Apparently he is saying that these are not actually people, they're just death masks. But I don't believe that at all. I think these are actual people. And Akira has no choice but to go in when his mother tells him to come and kill her and the father, and he just runs in, punches right through his freaking mother's face, by the way, and right through the body of this massive turtle, ending the episode and the relationship with his parents. Another super crazy episode. They keep the parents gone for the entire series, and when they finally introduce them, they kill them off in an extremely violent fashion. Yep, this is definitely a weird, freaky anime and manga adaptation from the 1970s. It's violent, it's sexy, and it does not give a fuck. It's Devilman Crybaby. So what's the rundown on this week's episode right here? I liked this one. It wasn't my favorite episode of the series. I felt that it was a little slow, and considering this is a Netflix series with a 25-minute runtime, I was kind of hoping we'd get a little more action. I'm still being a little spoiled. I just want more Devilman. There's not as much Devilman in Devilman Crybaby as you would actually think, which is kind of weird. But still, the characters themselves are just so interesting, you can't help but just not like them. I like that we got to see more of Akira actually interacting with Miki and her family in this episode. There's a great scene of them just sitting down to a meal, and you get to see that he truly is a part of their family. He feels like a natural addition, even teasing the younger brother, telling him that the bonito flakes on his food are actually wiggling and alive because they were killed that way. He's doing it because that's what his father did to him. There's just this really great family dynamic here, which of course leads me to believe that something very bad is going to happen. Now that Akira's parents have been killed in such a ridiculous, over-the-top, and violent way, everyone's head is on the chopping block as far as I'm concerned. That, and it's official. Ryo is a bad guy. There's nothing redeeming about his character. He just kills people left and right, and Akira continues to allow him to do these things. Why is he so complacent with Ryo? Why is he allowing him to do these things? Is it because he doesn't look like a weird, freaky monster? It's weird. And I absolutely love the dynamic between these two characters, and I'm still waiting for that moment where they're going to have a conflict again. It's bound to happen. It feels like it's constantly going to boil over until we get to that moment. What I will say is, this was a pretty good episode, which is doing a fantastic job of building upon the side characters, and I can't wait to see where that story is going with the rapper and Miko going to that club. What is that going to tie into later in the series? I'm very anxious to see. Inquiring minds want to know. I don't even need to talk about the technical stuff. Just like the previous episodes of Devilman Crybaby, this is a beautiful looking anime series, super clean and very unique looking, especially in terms of lighting. I absolutely love what they're doing with the lighting in the show. Almost every single action scene so far has been in like pitch black darkness, yet everything still manages to pop right off the screen, and that's because some of the bold color choices that they're using. It's really smart that they decided to make the color of the blood like this fluorescent yellow, so that whenever something violent happens, you see it. It's all over the place, and it just showers across the screen. It's insane. It was another great episode of Devilman Crybaby. I can't wait to see the next one. This episode right here, though, like I said, is not perfect like some of the previous episodes, but still very, very good. So I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. Check it out, Devilman fans. Make sure to tell me your thoughts about this episode and the entire Devilman Crybaby anime series. Thank you guys for watching this review. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more Devilman reviews and tons of other anime series reviews. And, of course, like the video, share it with your friends. I'll see you guys next time. And, as always, stay down there, baby.